This is probably one of the best mod. Okay, so ready to go?
Yep.
Let's go, one more time. Hey, what's going on everybody? Mike here, AX Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have another video on TJ's Integra Type S, aka Type S Terry. Now, we have a few upgrades, so let's get started. All right, TJ, so what do we have here?
All right, so we have a few more parts that came in, and we are going to be installing some of these today. Right here, we have this nice aero carbon fiber hood vent. Now, they are right now currently the only company that are making a hood vent in carbon fiber, so I think that's going to be really nice with the carbon fiber pieces that I have. This will kind of set that off and make everything look really nice. Now, we're going to be installing this today. You know, we can see how everything looks, how it fits, and after that, we will probably be taking this back off at some point in the near future and giving it to Brian over at Paint Society to add a couple extra layers of clear coat to this, because that will match the clear coat I have in my other carbon fiber, as well as give us added protection from the Florida sun. So we'll be giving it to him and letting him do his thing with that, and then we'll probably put it back on after that. But I can't wait to see how that looks. We have also, as you've seen on the last video that we did, we put a red LED into our lights, in the interior lights. We had installed the one where the charging pocket was for the phone charger while we had the shifter out. So we're pretty much going to be installing the rest of them since we finally got them in. We will be installing them in the doors and in the footwells, and that will kind of complete our red LED package inside the interior. And so moving on from that, we have the Acuity reverse flow radiator hoses right here. Now, these I think are going to be one of the single most valuable mods that I'm doing right now, because I'm trying to keep the temps down, right? Especially in Florida. You know, this car, when you run this car a good let's say two pulls, the coolant temps get up there. I mean, I've seen coolant temps getting pretty high. So what this does essentially is, these are reverse flow. So on the factory setup, how it works is you got your thermostat opening up, which goes into the bottom of the radiator hose and flows through the bottom of the radiator up to the top, into the upper hose, back into the head, right? So what this does is now we are essentially switching the flow, and the upper hose is now going to be connected to where the thermostat is. So when the thermostat opens, the flow is going to now go in from the top and flow down to the bottom and then back up into the head through the bottom of the radiator hose. And what that does is essentially will cool down a lot more efficiently, because right now, if you think about it, our intercooler is on the bottom of the sits kind of on the bottom of the radiator area, right? And so that flow is blocked essentially by the airflow, you know, pretty dramatically, especially with the bigger intercooler that we're running. So what this does is it reverses the flow. All the airflow that we have on the top of the radiator through the top of the grill, it's going to cool this down, cool the coolant coming in a lot more efficiently, and it's going to give us lower temperatures on our cooling. The cool thing about it is that these are silicone hoses, and they actually are rated for 100 degrees higher than the factory hoses. So these can withstand some high temperatures. Also, they do have these not just for the DE5, but they are for the FL5. They do make them for the FK, and they do make them for the newer model Civic Si. These have to be a decent product for Honda racing team to actually use them on their Honda race car. So I know their work. If they're using them, we know they're going to work exactly how they're designed, and I can't wait to get these in and lower the coolant temps. And while we're installing this, we're going to go ahead here and toss in a spoon thermostat while we're there, seeing as how we're going to have everything drained and out. We're going to go ahead and toss this thing in here and lower our coolant temps even more, hopefully, and get everything kind of leveled out for the summer. First thing we're going to do here tonight is we're going to install the Acuity reverse flow hoses. So let's get the car up so we can drain the fluid out and get started with the install.
And now once we get to the bottom of the vehicle, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the half of the shields here so we can drain the coolant.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to drain the coolant out of the radiator here. But real quick, on the DE5 and the FL5, we need to relocate our ECT2 here. So right now I'm just gonna unplug this and we're gonna drain the coolant. I'll get this ECT out, the sensor out, and then the kit comes with a plug that plugs up into this part of the radiator. And then later on, we get to the top, I'll show you where that sensor goes and it relocates to the one of the hoses. This is the plug that they give you, provided in the kit, that replaces the coolant temp sensor location on the radiator. And so we're going to go ahead and put this in. On the face of it here, it gives you a torque spec of 9 foot-pounds and tells you it's a 17 mil. So let's go ahead and put that in and we'll torque it down to 9 foot-pounds. Now that we got the lower hose off and all the parts on the bottom off, we're working up here on the top. And in order to get down to the thermostat and the upper radiator hose area, we're going to go ahead and remove a section of my ram air intake. And I'm just going to take it off of this coupler here and kind of just fold it over and just get it out of our way a little bit. All right, so over here is our spoon thermostat. This is a 10 degrees lower opening point than the factory one. So this spring is probably just not as stiff as the factory spring, so it lets it open a little bit sooner. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this thing in. All right, so we got the hoses off. Now this is the factory upper radiator hose, which went right here into the inlet, back into the head. So what this is now, essentially, is the new upper radiator hose. And instead of going to the top part here, going back into the head, it will route into our thermostat and into the top part of the radiator. And then right on here, right here on the bottom of this hose, you can see this opening. Now they supply the adapter piece in the kit, which is an adapter that goes into this part of the hose, and we take our coolant temp sensor that we removed from the bottom of the radiator, and we're now going to screw it into the adapter, which is also 9 foot-pounds of torque, and it comes with a hose clamp for that. And your plug is now going to be plugged into the sensor up under the hose here. You just have to unclip it from your fan shroud, and it routes right up here into the sensor, and there you go. Now you're essentially running your hoses a reverse flow. So I'm going to install this sensor into our adapter piece. Now it's 9 foot-pounds of torque, and it tells you right here that your socket for your sensor is a 17 and the fitting here is actually a 24 mil. We're going to go ahead and just put it in our vise and just lightly hold it in there so it doesn't move, and give it a little torque, but you can always use a 24 mil wrench to hold that. And that's it, 9 foot-pounds. Okay. All right, so now we're done with the radiator hoses, and I cleaned everything up, wiped it all down. So while I have the shields off and while I'm down here, I'm at almost 3,000 miles, and I like to change my oil every 3,000 miles, especially when we're running the car hard and I have some ethanol in the gas. So I'm sure it saturated the oil, especially since these cars tend to run a little rich. I'm gonna go ahead and change the oil while I'm here, and I am gonna be running a 530 since we are in our summer months coming up here and it's super hot in Florida. So I'm gonna go ahead and just up it to a 30 weight oil just to give it a little bit more protection, especially since it's really hot out. Plus the car, you know, it gets pretty hot. So we're gonna do that for the summer, and then eventually I'll probably go back to the 020, you know, when it gets a little cooler out. But I'll be running Castrol Edge full synthetic, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's pretty dark right there, TJ.
Yeah,
For 3,000 miles.
All right. Let's see how it smells.
You know, I think the ethanol obviously contribute a little bit to it.
Mm-hmm. You can smell it. You can smell the ethanol in the oil. You smell that, man? Eeh. All right, so now that we're done with the cooling system, we bled the cooling system, we finished up with oil change, put oil in it. We're gonna go ahead and, while we're under here, move on to installing the carbon fiber hood vent. So right now what we're gonna do is get this shield off real quick, just a few tens. And then there's a few more tens under, and the stock hood vent is actually clipped on. We'll go ahead and pop that out and throw in the carbon fiber one.
So this grill right over here, what we are trying to do was to pop off this clip. So you gotta pop off from the outer edge. So the issues that we have was, give us those issues was when you pop this side off and this side pop back in. So having extra hands would be good if someone can hold it from the outside while someone pop it from the inside. Makes it a lot easier.
And now we're gonna swap these over.
Here we go. Very nice.
That's a nice piece right there.
Yeah, this grill definitely gave a nice touch on TJ's Integra Type S. Matched the mirror really, really nice. I guess next up, the door panels.
That's right, we'll do the red interior lights and we should be good to go.
So here's the door panel interior lights that we are talking about. So the OEM stock one come with a white lighting on both of the door panels, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and change that up to red. And I think it'll look really, really nice once we all finish, especially TJ have all red and black interior. So once you carefully pop off the master window switch, you have one Phillips screws here, and the door panel should pop right out. That's it. A couple of connectors behind there, and we are good to go.
So that's the light there.
So that's one of them here.
The
You
other one's on.
mentioned there's two of them.
Yeah, so there's one here and there's one on the top of the handle over there.
Top of the handle. Oh, right over here.
Yep.
So on the left is the stock one. On the right is the red LED version from Civic Type R. And I think all we have to do is to remove the cover,
Yep.
which all we do is just slide it right out there. Yeah, show me real quick. So once you swap it over, it looks something like that. And all we gotta do, just pop it right in. Yep.
Okay.
Just like that, we all done with the door panel and the door handle. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's it. So
Let's see.
now the door panels is back together. Let's do a quick test. Turn the lights on. So we have white lights right there in the door panel, and take a look at the red. Oh, looks so nice. Okay, so we got another one in the driver's side footwell area, and TJ, how do you take that off?
This, you're just gonna twist it to the left and pull it out.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay, so the new one. Pop that in. That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Slide right back in. Twist. There you go. So we just pulled the car outside the shop. We don't have the shop lights shining through the windshield, and take a look at all of these LED lights. This is probably one of the best mod for the interior. Look how cool that is. Super, super nice compared to the white LED. Now, let's go for a quick test drive.
All right, so we just got the cooling hoses from Acuity on my car and the thermostat in there. So before we get some temperature readings, we're gonna go ahead and use our buddy Ryan's car here as a baseline. Now he has every single mod that I have, except for he has the OEM cooling hoses, OEM thermostat. So we're gonna go ahead, see what his car runs in the same exact weather, and we'll see how it's looking there, and then we'll hop in my car and see where the difference is on the coolant temps.
We'll get on the road, and hopefully we can do some good testing. It's a bit of a traffic on the road right now, so we try to be respectful, and hopefully we can get some good comparison between the two. So Ryan's car, like TJ said, it got a pretty good mod list, pretty much the same exact modification between the two, with the exception of the reverse cooling hoses and also the thermostat. So where are we at now, TJ?
We are at 192 on the coolant temp. So about 190, 192.
So right now we're pretty much just cruising on it. When we get to open area, we're gonna do a couple of open throttle and see what the temperature brings up to, and from there, jump in TJ's car and see the differences between the two.
Yeah, we need to see, basically this is just normal driving, and then what we'll do is probably like a second, third gear pull and see where the temp goes up to. And then what I notice is when you come down from doing a pull is when you see like how much the temp drops or how high it stays, and then we'll know more or less from there. So we're up to 199. Second, third gear pull. I'm gonna come back down to 196, 194, 192. All right, so got to 199 and came back down to 189, 190. So that's where it's gonna sit.
Let's do one more, TJ.
Okay.
I think good idea for us to do one more.
All right.
And by the way, the ambient temperature right now is 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, so second gear, here we go.
Yep. 198.
You got that? All right. So we just got back to the shop, and we're gonna go ahead and swap cars. But in the meantime, let's take a quick look at Ryan. So it is a black Integra Type S with 18-inch, 18 by 9.5 with a plus 38, I believe. T37, all black everything. Looks really good. You know, I think usually Integra looks better with 19, but I think with his setup, he also has swift springs. Again, under the hood, pretty much got everything pretty much identical on TJ's car. So now TJ's getting his car set up here. We're going to get that plugged in. We'll get the car warmed up, which is already pretty warm. And
Yeah.
Once that warmed up, we get back on the road and do the same exact test.
All right, so we're in my car now, and we are warmed up at idle, and it's about 10 degrees cooler on the coolant temp than Ryan's car was on the stock cooling system there. So right off the bat, we're about 10 degrees just sitting at idle cooler than the other car was.
Yeah, we're gonna get started as soon as TJ put in his seatbelt.
Oh.
Here we go, here we go.
You know,
That's it. That's it.
Gotta be safe in this fast thing here, you know? Okay.
All right, so we are second gear, about the same, ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it.
We get into fourth gear?
Yeah. We get in the fourth gear, yeah. What Ryan did too.
Yeah?
Yeah, fourth gear.
Okay,
a
so
little bit.
we got up to 199 and it's dropping down. We're already dropping to 185, 183, 181, 180, 178. Okay, so 176. So right off the bat, the temperature gets up to temp the same, but it cools down all the way down to 176.
Wow.
And on Ryan's car, it was about 186, 188.
Okay.
So we're a good 10 to 12 degree cooler after a pull. Okay.
Okay, so ready to go?
Yep.
Let's go, one more time.
Okay, so that time we up to 194, and now we're dropping back down. So it didn't get as hot that time. Actually, we're 5 degrees cooler on full pull, and now we're dropping back down, and it should get below 180, and there it is, right there, 178. So it should be about 176, 178 is where it likes to sit at idle after doing a pull.
Wow.
We just got done doing, 2, 3 pulls, and we're sitting at the light. We've been sitting here for a good couple minutes now, and we're just now at 180 degree temp.
Yeah, we're sitting still like 176, 178
Yeah.
for a little while.
And it's
Slowly creeping
95
up.
degree weather here.
Technically, it's 94.
I mean, it's close enough. So yeah, we're good. We're about a good 10 degrees, 12 degrees cooler when sitting.
All right, so we're back in the shop. TJ, what do we have here?
We have some EPC yellow stuff brake pads. These are actually a nice upgrade to the stock pads that we have now that come with the car. You know, these are free of heavy metals, so it won't be so harsh on our rotors. And they actually completely eliminate brake judder, so we won't get any kind of vibrations or any of the crazy stuff under heavy braking. And they do say that these are more for like a faster street driven car, you know, you could take it to the track. So it's definitely an upgrade from our factory pads. So we're gonna throw these on and we'll see how that performs. But before we do that, we're gonna take our HDS and we're gonna retract our rear brake calipers so we can service the pads. As soon as I click this button, it's gonna start retracting our rear calipers. No hub-centric rings needed on these bad boys when you got custom cut Boston wheels. See that right there? That's no tire wear, thanks to those RV6 control arms.
You don't have a chance, dude.
Stuck right on the tip there. Ugh.
Just get the plier. You'll be fine.
No chance, huh? So we got our factory Brembo brake out of the caliper, and over here is our EPC yellow stuff brake pad. One thing I noticed is it comes with the brake pad shim, just like the OEM Brembo. And if we flip it around, we see that the EPC has these slots here. I guess that's to help keep the noise down, and it also has this coating on here that helps for bed-in process. So I'll be interested to see how these perform. All right.
So we are all done up in the front. Let's go ahead and move on to the rear brakes.
What do you think about that? Factory pad has this little sticky backing to it, so it stays on the caliper. So as you guys saw earlier, we retracted our e-brake motor here with the HDS. And so by retracting that, you still have to push the piston in back here. But by doing that, by retracting the motor, we're able to push this in with our brake pad pressed here. And that lets us safely retract this piston without damaging the motor. Okay, and that's it. So moving on to the rear pads, we have our EPC yellow stuff here and our OEM Honda pads for the rear. And it is an identical looking pad. We got the spring up here just like the factory. We got our indicator right here. And on the other side, looks like we got a little more surface area on this EPC as well. So might be a nice little upgrade. Also, EPC sends these pad shims here to go on the pads themselves, just like the factory pad.
And with the wheels all torqued down, I think we are all good to go here. Next up, we're gonna put her back on the road so we can perform the new brake pads embedding procedure and also test out how well they perform comparing to the stock Brembo brake pads. All right, guys, so we're driving for the past 20-30 miles, and so far, I think so good. I've not heard any squeaking sound yet, have you, TJ?
No squeaking.
So what's your initial impression so far, 20-30 miles in?
For sure, 100%, the initial bite on these pads, it grabs like a lot harder than the factory pad did. So right on the initial bite, you can feel definitely an upgrade on the pad for sure. So it takes a little bit of getting used to on the initial brake. So, you know, I gotta kind of get used to how it grabs, because a couple times I was kind of jerking it with hitting the brakes. So definitely grabs a lot harder right off the bat. So that's definitely something I noticed right away.
I think we're gonna probably report back on the next video, give you guys a better idea of what we think in a long-term, I guess, impression.
Yeah. You know, they say these pads are good for a fast street car. So, you know, let's see how we do here.
Well, guys, fast street car it is. Definitely want to stay tuned next week for more cool content, especially on TJ build series, because we got some more cool stuff to install on TJ's Integra Type S. Aside from that, we're gonna clock out for the night. Definitely would give us a like, subscribe, and also a comment below and let us know how we are doing. My name is Mike. I got TJ right over there. Thanks again for watching. See you guys again next week.